friends, it's the Stitches, and we're gonna be doing a video from this angle today. I hope that's fun. Today's video is gonna be a sketchbook tour because I filled this bad boy, and I've seen a lot of sketchbook tours on the internet. I think they're a pretty popular and common thing to do, but like, I've never seen one that was particularly realistic. So I figured I'd show mine to see what, you know, a typical sketchbook actually looks like, because a lot of the videos that I see on YouTube are artists that have been very, very professional for a very, very long time and aren't necessarily in their student phase anymore and have very, very strictly defined styles. And that's not really your typical beginner artist, so I figured I would show what my sketchbook looks like so that people who are aspiring artists might have some better ideas on how to actually use a sketchbook to improve their skill level. I'm gonna open up. This is my cat's paws. I decided to paint the cover because it's one of those very basic, like $4 sketchbooks. It doesn't have a nice cover or anything, so I just painted it this. And then my cat stepped in it while I was painting it, so that's that. So I started the sketchbook in January of this year. This was my beginning of the year sketchbook. So these are all of my Copics. These are all of the shades that I used in this sketchbook. I like to do this so that I have a good key for what each Copic looks like on the paper inside the sketchbook. That way when I go to select my color schemes, I'm not surprised after I'm already halfway through a drawing. And then I also have some other little things taped in here. I like to tape things into my sketchbook to fill in ugly spaces or spaces where I don't intend on going back and putting anything. That way it's not a complete eyesore to flip through, but this is going to be a little bit of an eyesore. So at the beginning of the year, this was January 1st, I was still working on my art style, I was still defining it, and this is some of my early work that I was doing to really get the hang of it and really define what I wanted it to look like. So you're going to find a lot of very deformed faces like this in here when I was still experimenting. And then I just have some stuff taped in where I was doing some different fonts, it looks like. This is a tattoo I might get. Maybe. My mom would probably hate it though. And I felt it had been a while since I did any value sketches, so I did that. This is just where you know, do the thing with light, and it sort of just reminds you how to blend things. And then I have some stickers and some more experimental work. You'll see that I like to put my color scheme in the corners so that I know exactly what colors I used to make the sketch in case I decide I want to go back and recreate it later. Not everything in this book is safe for work. I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning. Yeah, this one was probably one of my first new art style sketches that I really liked. I felt I had the face really lined up really good on here. And then I did some figure drawing. This was when I had my like two-tone hair color, and I wanted to immortalize it in Copic before I like destroyed it. Some more figure drawing, and I started trying to figure out how I wanted to draw bodies in this art style, so I started experimenting with just the bust instead of just the face. This is a painting from last year that I just taped in here. This is a drawing from when I was very, very sick, and you can see I didn't get very far. This is another piece that's up on Redbubble. Some more experimenting on how I wanted my lines to look and how I wanted my bodies to look. A little thing I did for the fun of it. I just kind of wanted to draw a tattoo, so I just kind of like drew a shoulder and slapped a tattoo on it. And then I just was experimenting with different hair shading. We don't need to talk about that. Just kind of experimenting with Sharpies and different pens. I think this is 3 different markers that I had that I was just trying to get the feel for. I haven't been working with marker for very long, so I'm still like getting the feel for that. I had so much bleed through that I just decided to tape a bunch of stuff from Portland and some stickers and just some stuff I'd gotten in the mail. Same with these are all thank you notes from places that I've ordered from. This is probably the first painting that I did in this style that I really, really liked. This is still up on Redbubble. I really love this piece. I think this is still one of my favorite pieces that I've done. I have this on my shipping labels. I'm thinking about putting this on my next business card as well, because I just really, really like how this piece turned out. And it was just a sketch that I did hanging out with my boyfriend, and then I blew it up on my printer and made it this size so that it would look better on a t-shirt. And then you had to get these stickers by donating $3 to the Bernie Sanders campaign, and I did. And I just had so many stickers hanging around that I decided to stick it in here. Some more not safe for work doodles. And then I like this girl. I kind of want to do something with this, make a bigger, nicer version of it, but I haven't done it yet. I also really, really loved this sketch so much that I turned it into a painting. This is also on Redbubble. I really like this piece still. I think this is still one of my stronger works that I've done this past year. It's definitely one of my favorites. I really like how the baseball bat turned out. I liked how the shorts turned out. I liked how the banner turned out. I just really liked everything about this piece. The face itself is kind of weak, but like I felt like I really figured out bodies in my art style with this piece. And then next we have a precursor to a larger painting that I've created, but I haven't finished this series that it's going to be a part of, so it's still in my closet. I'm not going to show it yet. And then I just experimented with some different hairstyles because I draw the same hairstyle basically every time, so I just wanted to see what some other things might look like. And then this is a Redbubble piece. My boyfriend was actually going to use this for some streaming stuff that hasn't come to fruition yet, but I'll get him to do it at some point. He thought that this looked a lot like the Fortnite Battle Royale battle bus, so he was going to use it for a streaming badge icon thing. But then he never set up the stream, so that never went anywhere. But like, you can still buy this on Redbubble. This is on my Redbubble store. Just some more experimenting with faces. This is just kind of like, I see so many sketchbooks where everything is perfect and there's a beautiful, perfect painting on every single page, but like a regular sketchbook that you use to actually do sketches in is usually just a lot of this, just like a lot of practice and defining your style and working with your style and getting used to it. And that's like really the majority of this is just me trying out different things in my current style. I really loved this piece as well. This is one of my favorites. I feel like it's very reminiscent of like a Daria or like a Beavis and Butthead style. I think my obsession with Daria as a kid is really like shows in my current art style, but like I can't help it. And I just really liked how the clothes in this particular painting look. I think I really want to make a shirt like this now. And I thought it would be really funny for her to just have like a really rude tattoo, but I couldn't think of anything clever, so I just put FU, and I don't know, I think it turned out really well. I think it gave the exact impression that I was trying to give. This was some fan art I did of Jack Off Jill, which is one of my favorite bands, or was one of my favorite bands for a long time. And I received one of these stickers when I bought a shirt from the House of Adams web shop, so I just kind of stuck it in here and did some art based on it. And this was on Instagram, and it was actually liked by Jessica Adams, so I was very proud of myself. But yeah, I'm not sure I liked how the hair came out, but I am glad that I pushed myself to do something a little bit more like the original art style. And then these are honestly some pieces that I received as gifts when I was in high school, and I just decided to put them in here because I've decided to actually start saving my sketchbooks, so I figured it was just a safe place to put it, that wouldn't embarrass me too much later to flip through it. And then this was a piece that I really hated. I drew it in January, but you see the date on it isn't until April, because I went back later. I hated the sketch so much that I just kind of left it as was and moved on. And then I came back later and fixed it up and did an inking over it, and I feel like it's a lot better now. But I like to do that sometimes. Sometimes I'll just feel really uninspired by a sketch, and then I'll just, you know, stick it somewhere for safekeeping and then come back to it later and fix it up and turn it into something that I do like. So, and these were sketches for the zine Sick Girls Only, which is available on Etsy. So are these. This is actually the cover art. And then I just decided to do some big faces because I hadn't done any in a while. And then I just watched a bunch of YouTube videos of people painting roses sort of like this, and I just wanted to try it out for myself. And I had this page that I just kind of screwed up a drawing on, so I just experimented with the different textures, and I think it was really fun, but not something that I really want to incorporate into my style. And then just some more shenanigans, and it looks like I gave up on this sketch, but I mean, you can sort of see what I was going for, so I don't think I'll go back and fix it up later. I was just watching Heather's, and I thought that line was really funny for some reason. And then this is, again, I just had a bunch of stickers and things lying around, so I just taped them in here because the penis bleed through didn't really look very flattering on that page. And again, bleed through, didn't really like it, just stuck some stuff on top of it. This is, I think this was, I did a sketch with, it looks like color pencil, and then I drew over it in sort of a lineless style. Sometimes I like to push myself to do lineless style, but then I never feel satisfied with how it turns out. So I don't know, but at least I tried something. Can also see some Bobby Hill quotes down here. This was sort of some initial concept art. Some of it actually did wind up in the zine, though. For the Kawaii zine, I actually used this exact section for the cover. I'm really pleased with how that zine came out. It is not available for sale yet, but it will be. I'll have more information on that later. Again, some work for that zine. I really liked how these sketches came out. This is what I first started to experiment with non-black lines. I used a little purple fine lining pen, and this one I believe is a green fine lining pen. It looks like a little teal one. And I really like how that came out. I really like incorporating that into my art now. I was just really obsessed with this postcard that I got from, I think it was Craft or DIY. Another zinester. Some more just sketching faces. Just experimenting here. I'm not really sure what went wrong here, but it's not good. And then this was supposed to be a corgi, but it just kind of looks like a deformed chihuahua. Yeah. And honestly, more of the same. Just kind of, I must have been very uninspired when I did these and just kind of was trying to break through an art block. I actually did a recording of me drawing this, but I don't think I'm going to use it for anything but yeah, and here I was just experimenting with some different textures for font. I really liked the texture of these highlighters, so I decided to experiment with using them for hair. I did it with the blue and purple ones as well. I think it's interesting. They kind of remind me of watercolor, but like it's a marker. And I was just experimenting with different like confetti textures. This is for a super secret project. Don't look at it. No, it's okay. I really like how this sketch turned out. I kind of want to turn this into something. I think I might have like a banner going over her though that says, I don't know, something rude and sarcastic. These are some drawings. I made these as sketches with the intention of going back and doing them nicer, but like I liked how they turned out so much that I actually did use these in the finished scene. So these are more of my sketches for Kawaii, which will come out later on. I don't know what drove me to create this, but I just looked up a random picture of like a multi-story house on Google Images and then like, I don't know, just scribbled it on to some paper. I was probably, again, just trying to break out of an art block. And then these are little speed drills that I do with a color pencil occasionally. I'll just set a timer and do it for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes and just draw as many faces as I can, and I don't try to make them look perfect. I just try to, it's a good way to help get the feel for your art style and a feel for the shape and form of things without having to think about it too much. Again, more things just taped in, and then I don't love how this turned out, but I like her. She's sassy. Again, just playing with textures and more pieces from some speed drills that I liked. I just like to, I'll fill a whole page in one of my bigger sketchbooks and then I'll just cut out little sections that I think turned out well. These are some test shots from another zine that I made. And then this is just me playing around with one of my Copics and sort of just practicing with it. I felt like I was getting a little rusty because I had a period where I wasn't feeling very well and I went without drawing for like a month and a half. So I was just trying to like get back into it. And I just wanted to experiment with blending for a hair color. And I think this turned out fairly well. I liked this piece a lot. It was fun to make, at least. This I got in like a random game store when I visited Portland, and then here I was just experimenting with some different shapes and trying to sort of make a color gradient with like different shapes and textures. And then I was just watching Bob's Burgers when I decided to scribble that. Again, just some experimenting with different things I can do. And some more faces. I think for this one I just used a fairly monochromatic color scheme, but just sort of using the same. I do a thing where I start with one smaller piece and then I try to make it a little bigger and a little bit better, and then a little bit bigger still and a little bit better still. I think it's a good way to practice. Just start with something small and then try to make it bigger and try to make it bigger again. And then this sketch might look familiar to you. It's not meant to be official fan art. I just felt inspired by this particular selfie, so I decided to draw it. And just sort of, I just wanted to get the feel for the different shapes. I wasn't necessarily trying to draw Pixie Lux herself, but I was just looking at the different proportions and the colors and, yeah, just a simple little sketch. And then this is just something random that I taped into the back of here. I'm probably going to put some stickers or something back here and on this just to sort of finish it up before I stick it on the shelf and put it away. But that is my sketchbook for the majority of 2018 so far. Yeah, that is what a typical artist sketchbook actually looks like. Like, not every page is perfect. Sometimes it looks like utter trash, but like, it's just about experimenting and trying to push yourself forward and trying to just experiment and see what you like and see what you don't like. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed this, and I hope everybody has a good day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!